Hey everybody, this is Josh Schachnow, CEO at Visto.ai and Canadian immigration lawyer, back at you to talk about one of our favorite topics, AI. And what I want to talk to you today is about how you can leverage AI to prepare some of the most common and most used documents for immigration firms right now way faster and way more efficiently. Now, what we're looking at right now are my good old templates, right? As some of you might know, I used to have my own immigration practice. You can see my very fancy and well thought out logo up here. And one of the problems I used to have when creating documents, so for example, submission letters for applications, was that number one, I used to have a lot of templates to kind of navigate through, right? So for example, here's an example of one of my old work permit cover letter templates. Here's a different template that I used to prefer for express entry. Here's another one for the global talent stream. Used to do a lot of those LMIAs back in the day, right? So if I'm running a practice and I'm busy and I have 100 things going on, maybe I don't want to have to fumble around with all these templates, right? I got to go find my template for this. I got to keep my template updated for that. Or maybe you're actually creating very different versions of each template every time, right? So some of these applications are a little bit straightforward. So my submission letters are kind of staying the same a lot. But maybe you're doing more complex or like subjective cases, spousal sponsorships, H&Cs. Maybe you're doing some litigation, right? Or you're doing some refugee claims. And every time you generate a letter, it's going to be a little bit different. Well, I'm going to walk you through how we can use some AI tools and how we're helping firms generate these documents way quicker, right? So all you're going to need in a case like this is either one or multiple submission letters. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leverage some AI tools to show you how with just your templates, we can help you generate custom versions of them really quickly. Now what I'm doing is I'm jumping over to the AI side and I've got everything loaded up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prompt it to now draft me a custom version of one of those templates, right? So I'm going to say something like, please draft me a work permit cover letter for my client who is named Bill, right? We're going to stick to obviously making sure that we're not sharing confidential information here just to be 100% safe. And we're going to see what that looks like. So I'm going to click send. And right away, the AI basically gets to work. And based on those templates that I've already provided and kind of custom trained the AI on, it's going to start typing right away. Obviously, different times of the day, different speeds and stuff like that. But you can see here, we have two IRCC. I represent Bill, and I'm going to jump over in just a second so we can kind of compare the different language, but this has generated a custom version of it. Now, let's say I want to, and you can see here, there's a reminder to kind of like replace that information at the bottom. Now, let's say what I want to do is make it a little bit more specific, right? So here's my templated language, but you can still see here I have some gaps. Maybe I want to fill that in, or maybe there's something specific in the, I want to update right here, right? So I might say something like, can you please redraft it, but also use the company name ABC Inc. and also mention the children's birth certificates in the document checklist, right? So just kind of giving you an idea here of how you can kind of play around with an update. So not only am I starting with my own template and my own language, but now I can kind of play around with it and fill it in instantly. And then probably what you're going to want to do is copy the answer and basically paste it onto your, Word template or whatever it might be with your letterhead. Last thing I want to quickly cover is, again, that situation where you're doing more complex documents, right? Longer submission letters, lots of variables that might change, et cetera, et cetera. What we can do here, this is a bad example because it's a relatively straightforward work permit application, but just giving you the example of if you want to make adjustments to it on the fly, right? So for example, can you please redraft this, but also mention that the client Bill had a prior refusal and we need to address that even though he was previously refused for a lack of home ties, we've now included more supporting documents. For example, in brackets here, like, real estate. Let's just say real estate in his home country. That should definitely make him eligible and should be approved this time, right? And I'm just going to hit run. Now, the reason I'm showing this to you as an example is because this is how we can still leverage the template, but adjust everyone onwards, right? Because again, if you're doing something like H and C, you're never going to have two H and C letters that are the exact same, right? Maybe some of them are similar, but they're always going to be a little bit different. So what we want to do is be able to build these templates once, or better yet, for something like an H and C, we can actually work with you to take 10, 20, 50 of your prior H and C letters and train AI on all the different variants that's used in the past, right? So we can see here, the letter has gotten longer, right? So it still has my key language, excuse me. It still has a lot of the same outline and same language that I used prior, but now what it's done is it's adjusted the letter while it has noticed that there is a prior refusal because of home ties, blah, 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 right? So not only can you use these templates to generate custom versions of the more basic ones, but you can also use it including your language, right? Because the AI can be trained on your language to adjust and have longer, more extensive documents as well. The more prior documents, so if you have 50, 100, 200 letters that you've used previously, the more documents we can give to the AI, the better. So that's it for me in this video. Hopefully this gives you a little confidence to understand the power of AI even right now. It continues to get better every day, every week, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully this gives you an idea of what we can help you build with just a few templates and the right tools and the right instructions and prompts. If this is something that you need help with, definitely reach out to me directly. You can also learn more about our company at Visto.ai, Visto.ai. Definitely check me out on LinkedIn as well. If you just type in my name, I think there's only one of me on LinkedIn, to get in touch directly or through the website to see if we can help. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.